Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Crypto Crow. It is 12:39 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on 5/21/20. And I've been working on a lot of things recently. Things have been starting to get busy, and from a lot of different angles. And I'm kind of setting up a structure for my channel moving forward. Every video you can expect, segments on XYZ and that sort of thing. Kind of to relay, daily information, new ideas, opinions, news, trading, all of that stuff. But every video kind of have a time-coded thing. And I'm working on this whole thing, been rebuilding my website, a lot of stuff going on. But I wanted to do a video tonight that's kind of fun and honestly kind of exciting because the title of this video is not clickbait. There's actually a lot of legitimacy to what's going on right now in blockchain gaming. And I want to share some of it and explain some things. So I've been an avid gamer since my Commodore 64 back in the day. I mean, when I think of gaming, I think of some of the best times I ever had. I mean, I've always been kind of a loner. I've always been somebody that's just kind of did my own thing, and so which is typically what makes up a lot of the gaming community. And gaming to me is a lot more than just pixels and graphics and running around shooting things. One of my biggest passions in the world, I mean, in all of gaming, is Aloy from Horizon. No, I'm kidding. Horizon is like one of my favorite games of all time. I've actually just been playing it again. I almost beat it again, and I'm waiting for the sequels. I'm super excited about Horizon sequels, Horizon 2, Zero Dawn. But anyway, is MMORPGs, okay? And I absolutely love MMORPGs since Ultima Online, man. My first MMO love, and then from there went into EverQuest 2. And, when I used to play Ultima Online, I remember seeing this guy. He had this huge castle in the game and just piles and piles of gold everywhere. And, it was the first time I had ever heard of somebody who basically made a living selling gold to players. And it was such a crazy concept to me. And I think he used to, I don't even remember how much he used to sell, but for like $75, he'd sell you, I don't know, might have been 1 million gold or something. I don't remember, but the guy made a lot of money. And then when I got into EverQuest, I remember, playing with some guy who, he was telling me how he sold accounts. He would build accounts up and, power level them or whatever. And I just made $300. I just sold that sword I was using yesterday. I sold it for $300. And I was like, wait a minute, what? People are paying real money for this? Why don't they just play the game? And now, with World of Warcraft and all of these other big MMORPGs, you've got EVE Online, who has their own kind of currency transition system. And a lot of these games really shun real cash transactions. They don't want you selling the virtual items because they consider it their property, right? And they'll ban your accounts. There are accounts getting lost all over the place. People that are getting caught selling their accounts or items within their accounts or, in-game currency for real money. And it's like this secondary market that's almost like a black market. And anytime somebody participates in that, everything's at risk. Your account's at risk. Everything you've got could be wiped, like you could be locked out of it. Well, there are a couple of games that have actually embraced it to some degree. Now, one is Second Life. I know a lot of you guys out there are familiar with Second Life. This is kind of a virtual world that people have made full-time incomes from, creating in-game items, and people in business are using it for marketing. People set up different events and in virtual concerts and all kinds of things to draw people in. And there's an economy using I think it's called Linden or something like that. And I never personally got into Second Life, but I even found an article, how to earn a second income in your Second Life. How to make passive income from the virtual world of Second Life. And it goes into all these different things you can do to generate money within the game world. And that's okay. Now, this is a game that I did get into, Entropia Universe. This was the first real cash economy game that I ever played. And what's funny is when you play, everything you do in this game costs real money. Okay. What you make, lose, use, your bullets, your ammunition, your clothing, your armor, everything, and things degrade over time, just like in most RPGs. In 2005, a space resort situated on an asteroid circling planet Calypso is sold for a new record-breaking $100,000 cash, USD. Okay, that was just in 2005. Somebody in 2006 sold a collection of 3 malls for $180,000, and it just keeps getting bigger. You're never going to look up Entropia Universe without seeing this guy, Never Die, who bought a property, bought an island, did a bunch of stuff to it, and then sold it, made, I don't know, a ridiculous amount of money. But as you continue to move forward, the stakes keep getting higher and higher and higher. And the thing of it is, too, is when this game first came out, the graphics were deplorable. I mean, they were terrible. It was the idea. It was the idea that started building these communities, this idea of a real cash economy. And it was something that was favored in pretty much the whole premise of the game, okay? So while other companies are basically trying to stop people from selling in-game assets, these guys are saying, you know what? We support it. We're embracing it. Our entire economy is based off of real cash. 2009 Virtual Space Station land sale, $330,000. And this was back at 2009 CryEngine 2, okay? And it just keeps going and going. Asteroid Space Resort sold between players for $635,000. This is 7 years after its launch, okay? I remember when I was very first exposed to this game, there were hangars. Hangars were these places that were privately owned, and they would basically let you go from one planet to another, right? And you had to pay a fee to use it. It was almost like taking a Greyhound. Those things used to be worth I don't remember, a few $100s. And then when I came back into the game many, many years later, I was actually in Entropia way back at the beginning. But I was a graphics snob. Sorry. These things were selling for $10,000 cash. And these guys were making residual income from the use of these hangars, which is what made them very popular. You can buy land, property, houses, anything you want, you can do in a game like this. Now, that's not what this is about. But the whole idea is that these games, I feel really kind of set the standard for what is to be expected and what is possible in virtual world, virtual currencies and virtual economies. The difference between, the title of this video is, can you get rich with blockchain gaming? And I'm going to tell you, I think you can. I legitimately think you can. Now, cryptocurrency overall is still in its infancy. These games are not only, and if you're not familiar with blockchain technology, I expect you should look it up. You should really watch a lot of my videos, start understanding what blockchain is, because it's going to become the underlining layer to just about everything we touch and do in the world. Outside of that, with a lot of these, all of these blockchain games, and I'm going to show you some really, really cool ones that I think are going to do really well. This one, Hash Rush, is actually one I invested in a little bit back when it was at ICO, and it's apparently playable now. I haven't logged into it, but this is kind of it's a little virtual world where you can create a community. You can mine crypto from within the game and through these little nodes, and then you have to defend the nodes against other players, and there's PvP, and there's all kinds of stuff. It's actually a really cool idea. I do want to play it, but I've been waiting this whole time for it to be done. But it's called Hash Rush, so hashrush.com, and you can check this out. Now, the point is that we've got games like Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, we've got Entropia Universe, we've got all these different games, right? Some of them embrace cash economies, most of them do not. With blockchain technology, these blockchain-based games, let's say let's say you were playing Hearthstone, okay, Blizzard's big card game. I used to play the WoW TCG, the actual physical card game. To me, it was one of the best ones ever, and they stopped doing it because they wanted to start pumping Hearthstone, which it's a fun game, but damn it, I really miss the card game. I still have so many of those cards. And the thing is, with blockchain technology, with these blockchain games, all of the assets you acquire are yours. Not even the game developers can take them from you. That's the kicker. That's the thing, because all of this stuff is stored on a blockchain, whether it's Ethereum or Tron or whatever. And all of these digital assets are stored with your private key. You control them with your private key. So if you buy a sword in a game, that's yours forever. Nobody can touch it. Nobody can take it. Nobody can do anything with it unless you do it yourself. So if you want to sell it, if it goes up, let's say you're playing a game and you got this really rare sword and it's a legendary and whatever, and you acquired it randomly because you won something or whatever the case may be. Or maybe you just bought it from a player cheap while the game was still kind of unknown, and you have all these assets and the game starts really pumping and getting bigger and all this other stuff. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but anything could happen. But the idea is you acquire these assets in game, and as the markets are pumping, as things are going really well, typically the value of a lot of this stuff rises because the communities grow. It's like an ebb and flow of an ocean, okay? As the value of these assets grow, then you can sell them. You know, you might get a sword or a digital card or something like that, and maybe it's worth, 10 cents worth of Ethereum, right? But maybe a year from now or 6 months from now or even a month from now, maybe it's worth half Ethereum, okay? Well, that's like $100 right now. And up it goes. And the more rare the stuff is, I mean, you're going to have players who, let's say, a lot of these games are played with limited quantities of any particular asset. And so if you've got a bunch of these players who are going out there and they're playing this game, maybe they play it for a month, maybe they play it for 6 months, whatever. But then they just quit, they leave, they forget all about it, they're not worried about it. And maybe they think they'll come back some other day. Well, now you have less of that supply available, so that makes yours worth even more. So, I mean, I think you get the general concept of supply, demand, accumulating assets, holding them or playing with them or whatever. So anyway, Hash Rush is a fun little game. I expect you guys should definitely check it out. Another one that's really, really interesting, because here's the thing. There are a lot of blockchain games popping up out there. And from my experience, what I've seen, there are two types of games that I feel are going to really generate a lot of money for people playing them. Number one are card games with rare cards, okay? Just like Magic the Gathering and the Black Lotus that's like $3,000 or whatever, right? Limited supply stuff that's widely usable in high demand, the value is going to go up. One of the things that I'm kind of figuring is with these card-based games, these collectible card-based games, typically what happens is if the producer of the game is having cash tournaments, there are a lot of rewards, prizes, things like that offered for winning tournaments. Well, then that drives people to want to win more, and they're willing to invest more in creating a better deck or a better strategy or whatever the case may be to have a better chance at acquiring or winning these tournaments. So when that happens, that drives up the value of these sought after cards that are limited supply, et cetera, et cetera. So that is one use case that I think is going to really help a lot of these blockchain games. Now, the other one is land. Any kind of blockchain-based land game, kind of like the Sandbox, which is a really big one. These guys are still just like getting established, getting funded, getting their, they just had another land sale, and I think it sold in like 35 minutes or something. Like they sold out of like a third round of land. And basically what this is this is a game where you can buy property within the game world. And then Atari just bought a whole bunch of land in this game. Okay. This is honestly something that I expect to kind of take over Second Life because it's very similar. But I love the graphic style to this. It just looks super cool. It's got this 8-bit kind of retro feel to it. I love it. So anyway, but you can see here, this is kind of a map, land token economics, and it's showing you the different parcels of land available in the different sizes, how many have been bought up and so forth, who owns them. And you can basically create theme parks, anything you can imagine, okay, basically. And you can buy in-world assets from other players, from the marketplace, and you're using this blockchain-based token to do this. And I'm pretty sure this is all Ethereum-based. So this is all on the Ethereum ERC20 blockchain. And public land price is $48 USD, just to give you an idea. So pre-sale round 3, I think, just concluded, which means they're going to have one more and then the public round. And I tried going to these guys like, hey, I'd love to promote the hell out of you guys and create like a Crows, community type thing within this game, because I really think it's cool. I really do want involved. I don't know if I even have the time realistically. An extra large estate, which is 576 land parcels, is $13,000. Oh, that's crazy. 13 grand for an extra large estate. Man, I'd be happy. I would get a small estate, maybe a smaller medium estate, but anyway. So, and then, that's round 1. So it's even more now. Yeah, round 3. So round 4, it's going to be more expensive. I might have missed the boat on it. I don't know. I mean, I didn't, because if this thing, here's the thing. These games, and the other thing too is they have a whole other system. They have software that will enable you to create your own items and then sell them within the game world. And it's like a voxel-based system. I mean, it's just insane. I think this is going to be so freaking cool. And I really wish I had more time because I really want to dive into this more. I've talked about it in the past. But anyway, the point is, it's so late. That's why I'm such a nutcase tonight. The point is, games like this where you're able to get in, build communities around those games, especially games that are backed or developed by big teams with big partnerships like the Sandbox, because they are. I see these things growing and growing and growing, and I don't see them slowing down. And you can create characters, you can create monsters, you can create spaceships, cars, anything you can imagine you can create and then utilize them in game. And then sell them and make money from them. So that's a really big one. I think people are probably going to do really well. I mean, as this game grows and the community continues to take notice of what's happening and it starts drawing people from some of these other game worlds, like the Sandbox, I think it's going to get pretty big. I really do. Here's another one that I think looks really good for all of you guys that are playing Magic the Gathering. Gods Unchained, the trading card game that pays to play. If you can't sell your items, you don't own them. I love it. In 2019, players spent $87 billion on in-game items. That's not just in this game. There's just saying the secondary market of video games in general is an $87 billion industry in 2019 alone. But this kind of looks like Hearthstone more than anything. I said Magic the Gathering, but this looks really, really good. And I haven't played this yet, but I plan on getting into it because it does look really, really slick. But the idea is you're going to buy packs, you're going to buy cards, and you can trade them with other players and so forth and so on. And the values go up, and people are going to make a lot of money with this game. Now, this is one that I actually think is absolutely insane. It's being developed on the Unreal 4 engine, which Unreal 5 is getting ready to come out here pretty soon, which is actually pretty exciting. But Decimated, I'm not going to play it, but you should check out the world on this. Watch this trailer video. It's basically a post-apocalyptic kind of open world RPG game. And you're going to be able to buy, items and assets and things like that. I think this could be potentially really, really huge. Here's one that's going to bring back memories for some of you older folks. Cogs. Do you remember those things that, if you're old like me and you have kids, you'll know that, the kids were running around with these Pogs or whatever, and they were in Slammers and all that, and they were these collectible things, and they were super crazy popular. It was like a total fad for a while. Well, now there's somebody creating this kind of thing on the blockchain. So, and there's only one cog of any kind. So if you own it, that's the only one that exists. And I never even played this, so I don't even really know much about it. But I know that they're basically doing this now on the blockchain, and I found that pretty interesting. Another one, Skyweaver. This looks really cool. And keep in mind, I'm not being paid for any of this stuff. I'm just showing some love to the blockchain gaming community. So, but check this out. This is Skyweaver.net. It's kind of like Hearthstone as well. I mean, there are a lot of these kind of Hearthstone-like tradable card games. But again, the more popular these games get, the more valuable the assets within the games will become. This is one that's like really popular on Twitter right now. A lot of people are talking about Splinterlands. It's another kind of battler. It's not quite like Hearthstone. It's a little different. The strategy and the setup is a little different. But these cards, man, some of these cards are worth money, and they're growing, and the communities are growing. Tournament prizes awarded, $115,000, almost $116,000 in tournament prizes awarded so far. You know, these games they're getting better and better and better. The budgets are getting bigger. The graphics are getting bigger. But anyway, the idea is yes, I do believe that you can get rich from blockchain gaming. And because it's like every other industry, when something is first starting out, it's typically the early adopters. I mean, think of how wealthy the early adopters of Bitcoin are. You know, those who got involved, they got active in the community, they did everything they could to establish a foundation for growth and this and that, and look where they are now. Is this stuff that you're going to get rich with overnight? No, of course not. I mean, I guess you could, depending on what you're starting out with. But ultimately, yeah, I think you stand to do pretty well with some of these games. And as the game communities grow, the assets become more desirable. The more valuable they are, the more you're going to be able to make with them. And, you know, to me, I almost believe that there's some strategy in some sense. But me, as just a pure game lover, I'm extremely excited about some of these projects, and I'm going to be keeping up with a lot of the development and a lot of the projects that are coming out. So all I can really say is I really think you should check it out. Get involved with some of these games. If you're into trading card games, try one. You know, if you're into RPGs, there's a website. Let me see. Yeah. eggamers.io. This seems like there are a few of these out there, but they're like news sites for crypto games, new to crypto games, beginner's guide to crypto games. Check that out, and you'll learn about a lot of the other games. There's something about the Sandbox, Second Land Sale, Legendary Asset. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I mean, the idea is, I think you can best blockchain trading card games. TC, let's just see real quick what this has to say. I'm curious what's it? Oh yeah, this Dark Country, that actually looked kind of cool. Splinterlands, okay, of course that's in the list. And there's videos showing you the play of that game. Gods Unchained, of course. Okay, so we're seeing stuff that I pretty much expected. Relentless, I haven't even seen that one anywhere. Ooh, that looks pretty good. The graphics on that look really good. I might have to check out. There's Skyweaver. Okay, so I haven't even Axie Infinity. Somebody posted that on my Twitter. See, I actually posted this thing on Twitter a little earlier, a couple hours ago, and I was just like, okay, hit me with the best blockchain gaming games out there, because I was seeing some, and I wanted to see what people were actively playing, what they were really into, and so I got some of these ideas from there. So overall, 30 minutes, not long. Check it out. If you're into blockchain gaming, check out this website. There's some others out there. There's Crypto Spells. There's something for everybody. Get involved, get active with the community, spread the word, invite people to play, and try to accumulate as much stuff as you can, because in most of these games, just about everything is pretty limited in supply. And of course, there's always going to be new stuff coming out, but for the nature of blockchain, once you have it, you have it, unless you want to sell it to somebody directly. You don't have to worry about things being taken from you. You don't have to worry about somebody getting pissed off that you made a whole bunch of money on an item on a secondary market or whatever. That's the nature of these games. It's what they're built on. So check it out. Enjoy your gaming. And I will be back here pretty soon with kind of a revamp of my channel. And I hope everybody enjoys it. And I'll see you again soon. Crow your coins, folks. Have a good evening.